Liberty in our lifetimes in a free state of our own. That's the vision. That's the dream. We are building it in New Hampshire. I'm Eric Brakey, your host and renegade statesman for the Porcupine Report. Welcome to your source for porcupine news and free-range conversation on matters of liberty. All right, let's hop into the show. Hey there, all you porcupines, you. This is your host, your renegade statesman, your executive director of the New Hampshire Free State Project, Eric Brakey, coming to you for yet another episode 64 of the Porcupine Report. We are going to have a great episode today. We have not one, not two, not three. We've got four guests joining us today to talk about some great things that are being built for the Porcupine Freedom Festival coming up in less than a month away, June 16th through the 22nd. If you don't have your tickets yet, over 1,000 tickets have been sold. We still have more space, more capacity. So grab your tickets at PorcFest.com. That's pork with a C, not a K. You can use my discount code Granite Gulch for 10% off, a special gift from me to you as a thank you for being a viewer of the show. Again, we bring you a new episode every single Wednesday at 7 p.m., broadcasting on the Free State Project Facebook, X, and YouTube pages, as well as you can find us on Spotify and your favorite podcasting apps. Wherever you consume this show, make sure to follow or subscribe or like whatever makes sense for the platform so that you get to catch the new episode every single Wednesday. And if you are subscribed to our Free State Project newsletter, you're going to get that in your email inbox as well, along with all kinds of great news and content from what's going on every single week in the Free State. A few items of news I want to cover before we get to our conversations for today. First of all, I just want to say a quick congratulations to my friend from Maine, Representative Laurel Libby, who was recently speaking at the New Hampshire Liberty Forum about she was censured by the Democrat leadership of the Maine House of Representatives for a social media post she made about objecting to policies of biological boys and girls sports. However you feel about that, we can all have a great, fantastic debate. But the fact of the matter is the rights of her constituents to be represented were stripped away. These are the kinds of things that have been going on in Maine. Can you blame me for crossing the border and coming to the Free State? But thankfully today, the U.S. Supreme Court, in a 7-2 decision, said that pending a appeal, her voting rights have to be restored. So congratulations to Representative Libby, and we really enjoyed having you recently at the New Hampshire Liberty Forum. I also do want to promote at PorcFest. Of course, I know that you have just gotten your tickets because, of course, you would. I just told you that you should go to porcfest.com and get your tickets and use my discount code for 10% off. So now that you have your tickets, you're also gonna want to grab an additional ticket for the one pot cook-off. Now, this has been a tradition at PorcFest. It was a tradition for 10 years, but I believe the last year it was done was in 2016. Well, for this year, our theme at PorcFest is Taste the Revolution, and we mean that both metaphorically and literally. Metaphorically, in that we are inviting people to come out and join us at Rogers Campground in New Hampshire to taste the revolution that is brewing here in the state of New Hampshire, the #1 state for freedom in the United States. But also, we mean it literally in that we're going to have some great food at PorcFest this year, and we're bringing back the tradition of the one-pot cook-off. And we are still looking for chefs. Please comment or let us know or email me at brakey@fsp.org, and I'll connect you if you would like to be a chef for the one-pot cook-off. I'm going to be a chef, and I'm not much of a chef, but it's going to be good. I'm planning it out, and I've got a great one-pot dish planned, and I'm looking forward to that. But you can get a ticket for $25 for the one-pot cook-off, and you get to travel across the campground on Thursday. You get to sample all of the different dishes from various chefs, and you get to vote who prepared the best dish. And I hope that you will sign up and purchase a ticket because I'd really like to win that. And I'm going to use all my charm and charisma to overcome my my poor cooking abilities to win your vote. So anyway, it'll be a lot of fun. So join us at PorcFest and join us for the One Pot Cook-Off. All right. On today's show, I'm looking forward to the conversation we're about to have. We have 4 guests with us today. All of them have come together to be one of our larger sponsors, one of our diamond level sponsors for PorcFest, and that they are putting together a hub, which is going to be right on the main field by the main pavilion, the main stage, and it's going to be called the Exit Lounge. Now, I want to introduce to you the 4 individuals we're going to be talking with today from 4 different organizations. So first of all, let me introduce Paul Puey, who is the CEO and co-founder of Edge, a self-custody crypto wallet focused on privacy, security, and ease of use. Edge allows users to buy, sell, trade, and hold over 130 digital assets, including major coins and privacy-focused ones like Monero and Xano, all without requiring any personal information. Oh boy, imagine that. That's increasingly rare to find these days with all the know your customer laws. Boy. We're also proud to be fully open source. They are also proud to be fully and open source and built around a strong ethos of user empowerment and sovereignty. We are also being joined today by Kat Bleich-Bonadine, who discovered she was a philosophical anarchist while giving a soapbox idol rant at PorcFest in 2009. By the way, that's another great Free State our PorcFest tradition, Soapbox Idol, which I will be hosting this year. So you'll have to be there to check that out or audition. We're always looking for good folks for that. Anyway, back to Kat. Kat is a longtime liberty activist who moved from the front lines of the Ron Paul campaign. Boy, that's good credentials. That's where I got started. And police accountability movement to behind the scenes working as the producer for Anarchapulco and a board member for the Greenbrier Intentional Community. We're also going to be joined by Christopher Gronsky, who is a private freedom consultant and has been studying U.S. federal jurisdiction and state and federal tax laws for over 25 years and has been a private freedom consultant for many freedom-minded people from around the world. Christopher was elected as a selectman for the town of Hill, New Hampshire. He has worked with New Hampshire state representatives to write and pass laws that restrict government and protect rights. Christopher teaches state citizenship classes online at destinationfreedom.org and helps people eliminate various forms of debt, including dealing with the IRS and setting up foreign trust organizations. His new book, State versus Federal Citizenship, The Unknown Choice, will be coming out this summer, hopefully by PorcFest. And we are also, last but not least, going to be joined by Daniel J., who is a first mate at Pirate Chain. Boy, I want to give some of my team members creative titles like that. First mate at Pirate Chain, working to onboard the world to decentralized digital currencies that protect users' freedom and privacy. Pirate Chain is a 100% private by default digital currency that allows users to gain transactional privacy simply and easily. Pirate Chain uses zero-knowledge proofs to validate transactions while revealing no information or data publicly. Within Pirate Chain, users can send millions of dollars to anywhere in the world in under a minute for less than a penny, with absolute privacy, and no one can stop it. You can count on Pirate Chain to never compromise on privacy or your freedom to control your money and digital data. So that's the introductions. Let's welcome them all to the Porcupine Report. All right, we've got a motley crew here with us. So thank you all for being here. And I suppose to get started, I'd love to just give you each an individual opportunity to introduce yourselves. We can go in the order that I did the introduction. So Paul, would you like to say hi?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for having me on the Porcupine Report. Paul Puey, CEO and co-founder of Edge. I've been in this cryptocurrency space for now 11, 12 years because it's so strongly aligned with a lot of the values I had for, gosh, I don't know how to describe it. It's not quite libertarian, it's not quite anarchist, but it's more really distrust of a lot of the largest institutions of our world, both government and corporate. And Bitcoin at the time when I first discovered in 2013 was a way to kind of undermine all of those in one fell swoop. And so everything from the large financial institutions to the large health and wellness, All of those have the potential to be disrupted by actually cryptocurrency as a whole, because now the money that normally empowered all of those organizations now can empower people. And so I decided, hey, let's build something to make sure that everyone has access to this technology to be able to transact freely and to do it privately. I think privacy is one that I'm glad to hear, Pirate Chain here is on this show, because they care about privacy as much as we do. And I think it is one of the key tools to achieving that financial and general freedom that we so strongly strive for in this space. So glad to be here and share our thoughts.
Well, glad to have you, Paul. And Kat, would you like to say hello?
Hi, yes, thank you for having me. I'm so excited not only to be here, but with this group of people. We have such a really cool crew that's come together. And I was just kind of blown away, Paul, that you said you learned about Bitcoin in 2013, because it was when I was driving to the Porcupine Freedom Festival in 2014 on a Bitcoin only tour that you reached out about Airbits, and you told us about Airbits. And then by 2015, we were getting the Bitcoin bus and driving around and like visiting all these places. So I'm just blown away at how quickly you jumped into the space and created such an amazing product. I was an Airbits girl, and I had a really hard time with the rebrand. Like, I don't like change very much. I like things to stay the same.
Except for one that change means more freedom.
Yeah, exactly. But I really liked the product then, and I like it now. So I feel like we've got history together, and I appreciate, all your support over the years. And the Porcupine Freedom Festival was kind of my coming of age as an activist. I showed up in 2009 feeling really sad about the way everything happened with the Ron Paul campaign. And I was hearing all these debates about minarchy and anarchy and all these philosophical discussions. And it was a place where I feel like I found kind of intellectual enlightenment. So I love the Porcupine Freedom Festival. This will be my 9th since 2009. And I've actually been to more PorcFest than I have Anarchapulcos. I have been to 8 Anarchapulcos, and this will be next year will be my 8th Anarchapulco. So anyway, I feel like I have deep activist roots there in New Hampshire. I got arrested in 2010 there in New Hampshire. I went to court. It was a whole thing. So anyway, I feel like I've received so many blessings and so much support from the activist community there. And it feels really good to finally be in a position to come give back a little and participate and do this exit lounge vibe, which I'm really excited about. So thank you for having us, Eric.
Well, we're looking forward to having you back at PorcFest. And I will admit, I've never been to Anarchapulco, though I hear great things. So I'll look forward to hearing a little more about it. And I'll have to get there one of these years. Christopher, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm glad to be here. I'm Christopher Gronsky. I'm the founder of destinationfreedom.org. And I'm very excited to be coming to PorcFest again. Been involved with the PorcFest since the beginning. There were 2 years that I was traveling and didn't attend, but everything else I live in New Hampshire, been in New Hampshire since '87. I love Kat, and she's just awesome facilitator, certainly for Anarchapulco, and to be a part of a crypto space here with Edge as well as Pirate Chain, which I enjoy the Pirate Chain. We have that crypto as well. The beautiful thing about it is we help people with that know your customers nonsense, because we help people exit, hence the lounge, exit from the federal zone and establish your state citizenship over your federal citizenship. Most people have no idea that there's 2 types of citizens in the United States. And so I've been helping people deal with changing their status from a federal citizen, a statutory citizen that has an income tax liability, to a state citizen which doesn't have federal income tax liability. And if you don't have a federal income tax liability, you wouldn't have a state income tax liability also. We've been doing this. I've been doing this for myself since over 30 years, but helping people for over 25 years. We have no clients that are dealing with the IRS. We know how to navigate that space. It's not a resistance. It's not rebellion. It's none of the stuff that that's out there. That's very easy. We do a lot of our work with the U.S. State Department in changing that citizenship status. Most of you don't know that when you're filling out forms as a U.S. citizen, you may be creating a tax liability for yourself. So we make it really easy to change that. So we're going to be talking every day from Tuesday through Sunday, or Tuesday through Saturday, whatever, at the Exit Lounge on a daily basis to answer your questions about the IRS, why they do what they do, all that. And we'll give you resources so that you can keep 25 to 30% of your money. How would you like that, especially in that crypto space? So anyway, I'm glad to be here. Thanks, Eric, for having this show, and I'm delighted to get to know everybody.
Well, glad to have you, Christopher, and glad to have you, as an actual resident on the ground in the Free State. Daniel, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me. My name's Daniel J. A lot of people in the crypto space might know me as DeJohns. That's what I went by until recently. And I'm also a child of the Ron Paul revolution. I've been around this freedom stuff for quite a while and been very passionate about it, which is what eventually drove me to Bitcoin and eventually privacy coins. And I work with a project called Pirate Chain, and we are a privacy coin. I'm not sure if a lot of people are aware or how familiar your audience is with Bitcoin, but with most blockchains, your transactions are transparent and anybody can see them on the internet on a block explorer. So if you go and make a purchase from a vendor using a transparent coin, the vendor can go look at your address on the block explorer and see everyone else you've been sending money to, see how much money you have held, see all the other wallets you're interacting with. And we found this to be a one flaw in the transparent blockchains. So in the privacy coin space, we've developed ways to still verify those transactions on chain, that they are valid transactions and that there's not more coins in circulation than are supposed to be, but we do it in a way that nobody can see that information. In Pirate Chain specifically, we use a different type of privacy protocol. Most privacy coins use obfuscation to gain privacy, where they take your real transaction and they mix it up with decoy transactions. With Pirate Chain, we use something called zero knowledge proofs, which does not reveal. We don't have to use decoy transactions because there is just absolutely nothing visible on the blockchain. You can't see the addresses and you can't see the amounts. And what I'm really trying to focus on for PorcFest is showing people how easy these tools are to use. Not just Pirate Chain, but Monero, Xano, any other privacy coins you're interested in. Our focus is going to be getting people to go download an Edge wallet and show them how easy it is to do a transaction, because it's really not any harder to do a transaction on Edge wallet with a privacy coin than it is to use Zelle or PayPal or anything else. So I'm really focused on getting people to download Edge app, giving them some free Pirate Chain, and watching them do some transactions to show them how easy it is to do.
Awesome. Well, it's glad to have you as well, Daniel. And I will say, one thing I'm thinking about as I'm hearing all of you is, it's actually a milestone for the Porcupine Freedom Festival this year. But I think this is the first year that all of our top sponsors, and we appreciate our sponsors very much because they make it possible for us to continue making PorcFest tickets available to people at affordable rates. I think it's one of the most affordable freedom festivals you will go to in the entire country. And that's why we've got over 1,000 folks coming out. One of the reasons. But this is the first year that all of our top sponsors have been have covered their sponsorships with cryptocurrency. And I think that really speaks to something about how far the cryptocurrency movement has come since the I guess cryptocurrency wasn't even a thing when PorcFest got started 22 years ago. But I remember it was for me, it was 2013 as well. I came to the New Hampshire Liberty Forum, and that's where I learned about Bitcoin for the first time. But unlike Paul learning about it in 2013, I wasn't smart enough to jump feet first into the whole space. But thinking about how many of you came out of the Ron Paul movement or were part of the Ron Paul movement, I just think about so much at the end of the 2012 campaign when people kept going to him and saying, how do we continue the movement? How do we make a difference? And Ron said, I don't know. You got to figure it out for yourself. And so some people like me went into politics, but a lot of other people said, how are we going to challenge this central banking system that is stealing from us all with inflation? And are we going to sit around and wait for Congress to audit the Fed? That was kind of a nice effort, but it never came to anything. So people went out and built a whole parallel monetary system with this new blockchain technology. And it's amazing to see in 2025, from Bitcoin to all these other cryptocurrencies, just how they are revolutionizing the whole financial and monetary world. So anyway, I'm just thinking about that as I'm hearing you all introduce yourselves. But let me ask, for the exit lounge that you all are coming together to put on at PorcFest, which if I was if I'm a ticket holder for PorcFest, and there are so many different things, so many different hubs going on, festivals within festivals at PorcFest, what would I encounter if I came to the exit lounge, which will be in one of the big tents right by the main pavilion? What are you looking to build there? And anyone can take it who'd like to go first.
I'll take it if that's okay. So when we were at PorcFest last year, there were some of us talking, Amy with Pirate and Paul, and we were like, look at how you can create something down there in that grassy lawn where people can come together and talk about ideas. We want to do that. And so what we have put together is an opportunity for people to come learn about very specific, actionable, real life things. At Anarchapulco, we really like to focus on practical skills that you can take home to be more free. And so we thought this privacy focus, it's so important right now, because you're right, more and more people are moving toward cryptocurrency. They're learning about self-custody. They're learning how to really take ownership of their lives. And so we've divided the day up so that people can come sit with Christopher if they want to learn about taking ownership of their own identity as it relates to the government and to the public. So they can come sit with Pirate Chain and learn how it works. So they can come sit with Paul. And I am telling you, it is easier to use the Edge wallet than it is to use Zelle or any of these other things. I feel so grateful when people pay with crypto, because I'm able to move very quickly with Anarchapulco. When it comes to banking, I am hit with so many bank accounts have been shut down, or we've been locked out of them. You know, there's just all sorts of issues that we have. But I've been using Edge since before Edge. And if I ever find an issue, they're usually minor, and I message Paul and I'm like, I found a bug. And I love that's what I love about this community, is that we help each other. We support each other. We're not blocking progress. We're lifting each other up. So if you were to come down to our tent, you'd get to sit with us at our booths, and we'll be running a stage. And so the day is divided where each of our groups has 2-hour slot every single day. And, you know, you can come if you want to workshop every day with Christopher, you can sit down with him and do that every single day. I mean, there's so much information here, and we are going to be offering that. And I'm also really excited that Jeff Berwick, the founder of Anarchapulco and the founder of the Dollar Vigilante, and one of those big personalities who has really woke a lot of people up when it comes to cryptocurrency. I learned about cryptocurrency through the Free State Project and, you know, Ian Freeman and PorcFest, but a lot of people learned through Jeff Berwick. So I'm really excited that he's going to be coming. He will be doing a talk in our tent on Friday and on the main stage at PorcFest on Saturday. So really, I think we're here to give skills and to really conversate. And so you can walk away from our tent having learned something new and knowing how to do it.
Awesome. Anyone else want to speak to that question of what you're looking to build and offer at the Exit Lounge?
Yeah, I'll happily.
Go ahead,
Christopher,
Paul.
go ahead.
All right, you first, Chris.
Okay, I was just going to say that that's what I'm going to enjoy is to be able to do a lot of Q&A with people. And so we're definitely going to get to know, it's really going to be hands-on. And so that's really going to be refreshing. It's going to be, you're going to be able to ask questions and get real answers. And that's what we're looking forward to.
Awesome. Paul, you were going to add something?
Yeah, obviously, I'm in the cryptocurrency space. We fundamentally believe that this is one of the biggest tools to achieve economic and general freedom. But for a lot of the people that I talk to that have an interest in it, they're scared by it. They don't know where to start. And admittedly, compared to back when, you know, we first met, Kat, when primarily it was Bitcoin, right? Now there's just a gigantic flood of cryptocurrencies and protocols and DeFi. And a lot of people feel intimidated in that they fear stepping down the wrong path, getting involved in a scam. And so what we want to be able to deliver is that hands-on, one-on-one experience where we can share not just the information, but that same airspace of community with the people that we interact with, to onboard and educate, whether that be obviously what we do at Edge or just in general about how they can utilize crypto to achieve that freedom, whether it's being able to transact with it, receive it, or achieve a high level of privacy with crypto and other digital tools. We've always been very, very, very focused on community as a company, sometimes even to our quote unquote financial detriment, because we connect with people in real life. We host meetups here in our office nearly every single month. And we go to events like PorcFest and definitely Anarchapulco, which I've been going to since about 2017. And so connecting with people in the real world is the kind of connection we want to build with our user base and how to kind of create new users. It's long lasting, and it gives us a sense of what people are running into, what they want out of the ecosystem. And if anything, realize that, part of the Exit Lounge, and, Kat mentioned this, is that we're trying to educate people on privacy, the value of privacy, how to achieve privacy. One of the biggest challenges for projects that believe really strongly about privacy is that we don't know what people are doing. So we're not a classic Silicon Valley app website that tracks every single button click and tap and listens to what you're saying and looks at your face when you're using an app. And when you don't do those things, you really just have to actually engage with real people and actually talk to them and understand what are they looking for or what are they running into. And that's what we aim to achieve. And it's a great two-way street. We gain knowledge of what people want, and we're also able to educate people on the needs that they particularly have. And so this is what I'm really looking forward to. And the PorcFest community is ideal for this because they're so aligned with these ideals, but many of them just need to get that little nudge to get over the hump of using these tools to achieve privacy and freedom.
Well, Paul, I had a follow-up question for you there. For some context, first of all, I know that when we are receiving kind of crypto and Bitcoin donations into the Free State Project, we try as much as possible not to liquidate it, turn it into cash, and of course, we have expenses and things like that, but we try as much as possible to use the crypto that we receive and to pay for things in crypto, how it's supposed to be used. And I know we have at least one vendor this year who we're renting some materials from. We asked if they would take it. They said they were really open to it, but they said they've never done it before and they would need to learn how to receive it and set up a wallet and all of that. So it does sound like that's someone we should be sending to.
Yeah, send them to the Exit Lounge
to learn about the Edge wallet. But I want to ask you about the Edge wallet. So I know I'm no expert, but I know that my friend who is an expert years back set me up with a Trezor wallet, and that's what I've been using. And I've been pretty happy with it. But cool. So something like a Trezor wallet, like what would you say is different about an Edge wallet? What distinguishes it for, I guess, someone who's exploring different wallets out there?
Yeah, so probably two of the main distinguishing factors are, number one, a Trezor is a hardware wallet, which means you need that physical device in order for you to transact. It achieves a very high level of digital security. So I'm not going to say security, I'm going to say digital security in the sense that that device is not nearly as prone to potential malware that could get onto the device that could then take your funds. But from the usability point of view, you are left having to drag this thing around in addition to another device, such as your laptop or phone, in order to be able to transact. So generally, the transactional capability of such a wallet is very, very limited. And every single transaction that you want to send, you create the transaction on a device, then you go back to the Trezor to then look at it and sign it, and then have it broadcast back into the device you're using, like a computer, to then send the transaction out. So convenience is significantly reduced. But probably the most important thing that differentiates Edge from not just Trezor, but almost all of the competitive apps in the market is the way we secure private keys. So you probably wrote down that seed backup for your Trezor. It's somewhere around 12 to 24 words. And that is what I would call one of the most unforgiving aspects of cryptocurrency. Those 24 words are something you cannot lose. All right. If you lose that, you could easily just get hosed. But you also cannot let anyone see it. And that is something that the human brain is just not good with, right? You've heard the term out of sight, out of mind. Well, you're being asked to keep this out of sight, but keep it in mind, right? Know where it is when you need it. What we've built with Edge is much more familiar, meaning people to simply create an account and log in, right? Standard login credentials, but no personal information, no phone number, no email address. You just create a handle, a username and a password, and log in. And then the beauty of that system is we can apply additional security to login credentials that you cannot apply to a private key. So if someone sees those 12, 24 words, your money's gone. If you were to do the worst practice with your Edge credentials and send yourself an email with those credentials, or put it on a piece of paper under your keyboard at the office and someone sees it, you're still protected with what's called IP validation or two-factor protection. Those are things we can do and we automatically do with all of the accounts in Edge, so that you are protected and you'll get a notification if someone tries to log in. And then at that point you go, oh shoot, I should change my credential. I should change my password. Those are the pieces that significantly differentiate Edge. And there's also password recovery and other features, on the lines of this key management that bridge the gap between kind of traditional finance apps like your PayPal, your Venmos, and Square, and the cryptocurrency world. So they bridge the UX gap while still achieving very high level of privacy and full custody by the user. I mean, they own the funds. We don't even know how much money people are holding inside of our app, whether you're using Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, Xano, Pirate Chain. We have no clue how much money people are holding in the app. So privacy is still paramount.
Awesome. I'm sure there's a lot of folks who'll be interested learning more. Daniel, I haven't had a chance to go to you yet. What are you looking to forward to building at the Exit Lounge?
I just want to show people how easy it is to use cryptocurrencies and privacy coins, like Pirate Chain or Monero. I just want people to understand. A lot of people, like Paul mentioned earlier, a lot of people get overwhelmed by cryptocurrency because they hear of all these cryptos that do a bunch of different things, whether it's in DeFi or lending or leverage trading or stuff like that. I think people have forgotten that it's not that difficult to do a cryptocurrency transaction with a chain like Pirate Chain. It's as simple as downloading Edge Wallet. If you're trying to receive some coins, like I'll be giving out free Pirate Chain to people at the event, just download the Edge Wallet. You open up Pirate Chain on Edge Wallet, bring up the QR code on there. I'll scan the QR code, enter the amount, and hit send. And it'll be there in about a minute. It costs less than a penny, and it's completely private. And it's just as easy as Zelle or PayPal or anything like that. So I'm really just trying to highlight to people, how easy it is to use, how these tools have already been built to opt out of fiat. We have alternatives to fiat. I know it's not easy for everybody to just turn off, fiat and start using crypto 100%, but it is very easy to start using crypto for some of your things. For the vendors that do accept it, go buy the products that you can from merchants that do accept it, send money to family and friends and stuff like that. It is not that difficult, and I'm really excited to go and show people how easy it is and get people excited about, cryptocurrencies as a payment network. Like the original, ethos of Bitcoin, the original thing that got us all excited about Bitcoin was the fact that, we could send money anywhere in the world cheaply, quickly, without a centralized service that absolutely nobody could stop. And it really, I think it gets overlooked a lot that cryptocurrencies really are the most efficient payment networks that have ever been built. There's no traditional methods for you to send millions of dollars to the other side of the world that quickly, that cheaply, and without being able to be stopped or censored by governments or institutions or anything else. So I'm really excited just to show, get people excited for the same reasons we originally got excited about Bitcoin. But with privacy coins, we now have the option to do it completely privately. So we can't be spied on, and we're not giving data, our precious data, to people who hate us and who use it against us. So that's what I'm most excited about.
Awesome. Kat, let me ask you, so Anarchapulco, now I've heard about it. People, I know many leaders in the Free State movement are there almost every year. I know Carla Garrick, the chairman of our board, is a regular attendee at Anarchapulco, but I've never been. So tell me, as someone who's never been to Anarchapulco, but I love events like PorcFest. Maybe there's similarities. Maybe I'm sure there's differences too. Like what is the value in Anarchapulco that you may try to communicate and sell people on at PorcFest?
Sure. Anarchapulco identifies as an anarcho-capitalist gathering, but we are so much more. We have a different theme for every single day. So one day is on the philosophy of liberty. One day is called Crypto Poco, and that's basically the Exit Lounge. this type of content. We have a whole day on sovereign living, which is, how to raise sovereign children, how to raise your own food, slow food economy, solar power, if you're interested in that, getting out of those big systems. And we also have an Anarch Awakening Day, which is focused on the spiritual and the esoteric. So we cover a lot of topics, and we provide a platform for people with ideas that might be controversial. We did have a flat earth panel last year. It was great. It was a really fascinating conversation. We have a very high vibing group of people. They're people from all over the world. So I think what stands out as different from the Porcupine Freedom Festival is we're not a move here project. So people aren't coming specifically to learn about relocating and, containing. They're coming to learn and take things back home. So it's a really great place for people who are a part of the Free State Project to come learn new skills from a global audience and bring home what's working in Europe, what's working in Mexico, what's working in Canada, what's working in other places in the United States or Australia. Bring that back home, integrate it, and try to become a better person year after year. And that's what I really like about Anarchapulco is I always come back renewed, just like with PorcFest.
When is the next Anarchapulco?
Well, our next Anarchapulco is in February of next year. The dates are actually the 15th through the 20th, but we do have our second annual Liberpoco, which is taking place in Serbia in partnership with Liberland at the end of the summer. So this will be September 4th through 7th. It'll be our second annual, and we're really proud and excited about that as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say is that I've been to Anarchapulco, got to speak this last event, but then also went to Liberland, and Kat and her team were there, helped facilitating that. So I love one of the things I like about Anarchapulco is actually meeting people from around the world and actually being together and talking and all. So you're developing these wonderful relationships because freedom is a human thing. It's a thing that we all have in common, and freedom doesn't have those same borders, so it's really lovely to be with people. And that's the joy that I've had being in both those events, the Liberland and Anarchapulco. Now it's going to be in Puerto Vallarta, I understand. Isn't that
yes,
correct,
this
Kat?
is our first year in Puerto Vallarta, which I'm so excited about. And I wanted to mention at last year's Liberpoco, I actually gave a presentation, and PorcFest was on my slides. I talked or in the Free State Project, and I talked about New Hampshire and everything you guys were doing. I'm a big advocate, and I'm promoting y'all all over the world.
Well, we I appreciate it. Word of mouth is the most effective way of getting the word out there. So thank you, Kat. And Christopher, now I know you had told me before we started recording that you've been coming to PorcFest since the beginning. Were you there at year zero, like the PorcFest before it was officially PorcFest, when they were just trying to sell New Hampshire to the Free State Project?
Absolutely, we did all those, and like at the Gunstock, and certainly with Rogers Campground, being there and then leaving and coming back, and all of that has been very exciting. I've been and the work that I do worldwide with people, we're always advocating people to come to New Hampshire, meet me, and then be a part of the Free State Project. I always say, come and I need good neighbors. Come to New Hampshire and become my neighbor, and so no, I mean, big fan of that, and I've been a part of the tax honesty movement back when they were doing that in Washington and with a number of those people. And so that's been my conversation always at PorcFest, has been eliminating income tax liability. And some of our fans, people that we love, like Ian and others that have had trouble with the IRS, I'm going to help you understand why they got in trouble, what was really going on. A lot of people make up stuff about it. There's facts and evidence you can know. And so the pathway that we have is an easy way in which when it's not a bunch of drama. And again, you can keep all of your crypto earnings without being a tax evader. You don't have to do that. It's actually a choice.
Well, I'll definitely have to sit in on one of your workshops there, because I'm not familiar with that, but it sounds like if there is a legal way to, I already appreciate not having to pay income taxes in the state of New Hampshire, and it would be nice if I could get Uncle Sam off my back as well.
It's not a very difficult process. It's very easy to be to understand, easy for kids to understand. So it's not that difficult. It's a choice, believe it or not.
Well, I was curious for you, Christopher, and for Kat, and I guess I don't for Paul or Daniel, however much experience the two of you have had with PorcFest in the past, but particularly those who've been coming for a long time. How have you over the PorcFest that you've attended? How have you seen the festival evolve and change? Because I've only been coming since 2012, and I've missed a couple along the way. Some of you have more PorcFest experience than I do, and I'm running the dang thing. So,
thanks for that.
I'm the last person to be able to chime in, although I've been to Anarchapulco since about 2017 or so. Last year was actually my first PorcFest. I've known about it and wanted to go for many years, although I'm in the very opposite side of the country. So it's a bit of a trek for me, but I'm excited to be going to as many of them going forward. I had a blast last year. I don't know how it's transitioned. I'm going to presume for the better, because it was a great time.
Awesome. Glad you had a good time last year. It was my first time helping to run it, so that's a good vote of confidence. Thank you.
So last year I hadn't been since 2018, and before that I had a gap from 2014. So I went from 2009 to 14, a gap to 18, and then again in 24. And what I thought was amazing is that this most recent year, 2024, there were nearly as many children at PorcFest as there were people the first time I attended. So it's like they have their own mini conference going on with all their own activities. And for me, being a mom of 3, and I almost moved to New Hampshire, I ended up picking Texas. Long story. Don't want to rehash that.
We won't judge you too harshly. At least our judgments will keep internal and
Okay. But my heart is in New Hampshire with the Free State Project, and seeing all the families there. I mean, it made me so happy. And one of the larger turnoffs for me that actually had me redirect toward Texas was, at the time, and I believe this is common for startup communities, for move here projects, the first 10 years, you're going to have people who have nothing left to lose to show up first. People with businesses, with houses, with families, with established lives. It's harder, it's more difficult for them to show up. And so I was showing up, and there was a lot of drama. And so when it came time for me to start a family, I thought, this feels too intense for me. And I went to the Austin, Texas activist community, which felt at the time more stable. But what I have seen is now that the Free State Project has evolved and it's got a couple decades under its belt, and families did show up, and those who didn't have families when they showed up created families, and that breeding out statism, it's happening. And I have a little FOMO, I'm going to be honest.
well, maybe one. I mean, I'm sure you're already, anchored and settled, and I spent a year and a half in Austin, Texas. There's a great liberty community there. When I was working for Young Americans for Liberty, there's a great, great community there. But Texas, of course, will never be the libertarian state. They might be, good on some of the economic issues. But are we going to get you back for Soapbox Idol this year?
So at least at one point, I wasn't allowed to compete anymore because I'm a really good ranter. And so if I'm allowed, I will. If not, I'll do an intermission
you won
show.
It. Didn't you win it, Kat? Didn't you take the first place?
I won Soapbox Idol.
I almost won one year. I took second. It was it was rigged. There were Dominion voting machines and everything. But
there were Dominion.
But
fair enough.
Yeah. But Kat, I really appreciate you speaking to that. I think that is one of the great things about PorcFest as it has evolved is the presence of families and kids. I know there were over 100 kids present last year, and we do have this whole Porcupines programming, which includes, I'm looking forward to doing for a second year, a mock legislature with the older kids, so we can train them how to take over the state legislature when they're old enough and pass liberty policies. But a lot of great stuff for families. And I think what's been a lot of it is like folks who've been coming to PorcFest forever, and they were maybe they were just coming in the in the mid 2000s because they were just looking to party, but eventually they got older and they had kids, and then they started looking for something else, and enough families came, the demand was there, and it's really we kind of have it's great to have now. If you want to come to party, there's still that at PorcFest. You get to choose the experience that you want to have. But also a great family zone with a lot of great family programming. Chris, I know I know you correct me. Christopher, not Chris. Christopher, you've been coming from the beginning. So, what have you observed as far as kind of the change over time?
Yeah, I mean, when being in a community in New Hampshire, one of the things I love about New Hampshire is our friends are freedom-minded people, and so New Hampshire has a vital freedom community that's more than PorcFest. PorcFest is an event that happens every year, and it's a reunion, and it's a coming home. It's all that stuff. It's that exciting. But the people coming into New Hampshire in that community, these are our friends, and their families and stuff. And so daily we're interacting with the people in New Hampshire as part of that freedom community. I can go on and sell New Hampshire all day, because even where it's located, we border Canada. We used to drive up to Quebec City. You're not too far to enjoy Boston. I mean, I can sell New Hampshire all day. I love its politics. I love that I can open or conceal carry right into the State House. I know when Dave Scanlon, who was Secretary of State, when he was the Deputy Secretary, is now the Secretary of State. He's freedom-minded. I love his sentiment. You can know your state reps. I had a state rep call me this morning. I was talking about the Declaration of Independence wasn't in the Constitution. It used to be, and that they publish. And so she told me where I can find it. So I had my state rep contact me and all that. That's New Hampshire. You can actually know your reps. They can be in your phone. You can get to know your sheriff. That's the thing I love about New Hampshire, is you're involved with government, and so therefore it seems like they're your neighbors. It seems more touchable. Now listen, I can be critical on what I think New Hampshire needs to improve upon, but that's the beauty of the power being in the people. So
is that you actually can have an impact in improving it.
Absolutely. So.
I can't imagine, so I was in the state Senate in Maine for several terms, and I think it was similar, small district sizes. I can't imagine how you try to get something changed in a state like Texas, where the Senate districts are bigger than congressional districts. I feel like you're just like you're just one drop in a vast ocean, and the politicians have no real incentive to listen to you as an individual because they've got like a million constituents.
Good word.
So
yeah, no, I mean, I think that's significant. That's one of the things I love.
We got to drive this home so Kat decides to give up on Texas and make the move. But
for a small fee, we'll set you free.
Daniel, we've kind of gone one whole round robin with everyone else. I want to see if you wanted to chime in on anything we've been talking about.
Well, this will be my first PorcFest. I've been watching you guys from a distance. I'm also on the other side of the country, closer to Paul. And but this will be my first time attending. I'm really excited about it because I have been watching. I see the highlights from it online every year. And one of my earliest memories of PorcFest was, it might have been in 2013 or 14. It was pretty early, but somebody had a vending machine that accepted Bitcoin at PorcFest. I don't know if anybody else remembers this, but I distinctly remember watching the videos and stuff like that. And I thought it was just the coolest thing ever when I think it was probably before I even bought Bitcoin, but I was just like really excited that you could, go up to a vending machine and buy some candy or something like that without using fiat. And that's one thing that told me I got to get up there eventually, and I've also been listening to Free Talk Live forever and really inspired by Ian and, all the people who are suffering because they were trying to opt out of fiat and are being persecuted by the state because of it. So I want to go up there and show my support and finally meet some like-minded individuals. I'm really excited to go. Never been to New Hampshire. I don't even know if I've ever been that close to Canada, honestly. I hope they can hear the freedom over the border from our party down there. So I'm really excited to go.
Yeah, don't worry. Canadian socialism is not contagious. So
I was worried about that. I'll leave my mask at home.
all right. It is. It is. Well, we're really glad that you get to come and have your first PorcFest experience. It is something that PorcFest and the Free State movement has been on the cutting edge of the cryptocurrency movement since it began. And I know you mentioned kind of Bitcoin ATMs in the early years. I know that the gentleman who's a friend of mine and who's a patron of the Free State Project, Matt Whitlock, is going to be there. And he's one of the individuals who programmed the very first Bitcoin ATMs in New Hampshire. So it may have been one of his units for all I know. I'd love to introduce him to you guys. But we are past the 50-minute mark, and we're going to need to wind down in a moment. I wanted to give you each an opportunity, though, to share any final thoughts you want to share, anything you want to drive home. Please feel free to share where people can learn more about the individual projects you're working on and something they should look forward to when they stop by the Exit Lounge. We can start with Paul, and we'll work our way around.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. So I know that there are a ton of liberty-minded folks in New Hampshire, but they don't always go to PorcFest, right? It's kind of a bit of a rotating party. I know a few people, even I just recently saw Mark Edge over in Amsterdam for ETHDAM, which is a privacy-focused cryptocurrency event. And I know he's kind of on and off been gone to PorcFest. So I would like to send out this invite to say, hey, come. This is the 1 year. Come on by to PorcFest this year. The Exit Lounge is going to be there. There's so much more that you're going to be able to learn about privacy-focused cryptocurrency or cryptocurrency freedom tools than you'll probably have access to from prior years. I'm saying that, although I'm kind of just taking a stab at that. But I think this is going to be a great year to attend. A lot of great content's going to come your way through multiple tents. I know a few other tents that are getting propped up as well. Even though we might be having a little friendly competition, they're all going to have great content in this regard. So if there's any 1 year, if you've been missing PorcFest for a few years in a row, like Kat has her on and off periods over the past few decades, come this 1 year. I think it's going to be a blast.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. Kat.
Well, I'd like to second that. Please come. Let's have a big reunion and have a bunch of fun. I think it's going to be really good. I definitely had the feeling of coming home when I showed up last year in 2024. So I'm excited for 2025, getting to know all the new people who've moved out there. But for me, my heart's really tender for the OGs. So please come check us out at the Exit Lounge. If you were on the fence about coming, come, because we're going to be there. We really want to see you. We really want to hang out. And of course, if you are interested in having a European or tropical beach vibe version of something like this, check out anarchapulco.com.
All right, Christopher.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I hear Jeff Burrick, I think he suggests that the weather is going to be perfect. And so I'm looking forward to meeting everybody and to seeing old friends. The views at Rogers Campground are stunning if you haven't seen a New Hampshire view. And it's going to be delightful. And so I'm very excited and looking forward to meeting everybody. If you want to keep 25 to 30% of your income for the rest of your life, definitely hook up. I'm going to show you that way, and it'll be a good thing for you.
Awesome. Daniel.
Yeah, come see us at PorcFest. It sounds like it's going to be the year of cryptocurrency. Come and learn how to exit fiat. Fiat is the chains that enslave you, and that's what gives the state all the power they have to control us. And we have built tools, not just at Pirate Chain, but everybody in the crypto space has built these tools that are easy to use and are working today. We have the opportunity to stop using government money to use an alternative, and not necessarily Pirate Chain. I'm happy to see anybody onboarded to Bitcoin, Monero, Xano, whatever. Just use something other than fiat. And you don't have to go and invest your entire net worth into it. You'll never hear anybody at Pirate Chain tell you to go invest in Pirate Chain. We tell people to use it. You don't have to put your whole net worth into Pirate Chain to go buy $100 worth and use it to pay for a VPN or to buy some goods from our merchants and stuff like that. And that's how we really fight the state. At least that's how we stop feeding the state. We take away their food. We take away what gives them strength. So come to PorcFest this year and learn how to exit fiat. We have experts there that can walk you through everything. It's not as hard as you think. And if you want to learn more about Pirate Chain, go to piratechain.com and come join our community. We're a bunch of freedom lovers, and we're very passionate, and we don't compromise.
Awesome. Well, I really want to say thank you to all of you for helping us build PorcFest this year. We're really looking forward to having you, and I'm sure a lot of folks are going to be looking forward to learning how they can exit fiat and slay the Federal Reserve banking cartel and support decentralized currencies that don't empower any masters to rule over us and steal our money. So I'm really excited to have you all. Thank you for building with us. And we will see you June 16th through the 22nd at PorcFest.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, everyone. That's the show. By the way, did I mention, in addition to getting your PorcFest tickets at porcfest.com and using the discount code Granite Gulch for 10% off the ticket price, did you know that in addition to accepting fiat currency in payment for your tickets, you can also pay with your favorite cryptocurrencies, whether that's Bitcoin or many other cryptocurrencies? Yes, we are in fact set up to take your favorite cryptocurrencies in payment for tickets or sponsorships or whatever you would like to do. We will love to have you not just attending PorcFest, but participating in PorcFest. This is something that we all build together. It is our week simulation of a free society, something we all build together with many, many hubs, many people organizing their own events and their own activities around the festival, in addition to the official events that are put on by the Free State Project and many of the great speakers that are coming out. So looking forward to seeing you there at PorcFest. Get your tickets, porcfest.com, Granite Gulch for 10% off, fiat or crypto, whatever you prefer. We are open to all forms of, all those forms of currency anyway. All right, everyone, that's the show. Thank you to our producer, Renita, for making all of us look so good from behind the scenes. And furthermore, my opinion is the Federal Reserve should be destroyed.